Yeah, well, somebody told me the other day, they were like, I'm afraid to go out because I'm afraid people might judge me. And then I said, you know what I think about people judging you? I said, I don't give two shits about what people think. I mean, I really don't, especially if it's negative or whatever. I mean, it just comes down to mutual feeling. Nobody gives a fuck about me to maybe to an extent, but it's not like they would cross oceans and borders and all kinds of shit like that for me, right? And I feel as though, since my life experience has molded me or my mind in a certain fashion, I can relate to a lot of situations. I have a lot of empathy or sympathy for somebody, and I might help them out more than the average person would. But overall, I I don't know if I don't know if I would really give a shit. In fact, I don't think I would. I don't think I would really give a shit. After a certain point, um, I just wouldn't give a shit because people don't give a shit about me. I don't give a shit about other people to an extent. So the feeling is mutual. Um, I've had people try to make some commitments for things that they possibly signed up for to agree to um, for certain terms, and life shows up and things happen. But all I'm saying is don't make promises that you can't keep. That's all, because it just makes you look like uh, a liar, basically. If it's proven time and time again, it just makes you look like you're full of shit. And usually, if you're not a man of your word, um, and at least trying to fulfill some of that, then um, I don't think there's much credibility there. As far as judgment, I mean, people judge you for good or for bad, no matter where you go. So it doesn't really matter um, what people think as far as that goes. If you carry yourself well and you're doing little things along the way, even though to somebody else it could look like you're a complete nut. For example, like I talk about all these different things I want to do because I can't be set on one single career, like I guess what society views it like a normal person. Um, they do say like, "What is normal anyway?" But that's so fucking so traditional, you know. It's like everybody knows what normal is. Normal's like you have a job or you have some kind of income, a decent family life, your personality and your social skills are comfortable to people overall. You're not awkward or clumsy in any kind of way. You're just average, averagely normal. That's all that means. So, when people judge for good or bad, like it's just like whatever. I judge people for good and bad every day. I judge people all the time. I question people all the time. I think you kind of have to in today's world. You kind of have to judge and question everything. Um, can't just mindlessly go around in this world just, you know, trying to satisfy your peers or so-called peers or, shit like that. It's just internally you figure out who you are And if you're not happy with the situation, take the steps to develop a plan or multiple plans, realistic plans, and make the changes. All it takes is a little bit of action. That doesn't even require all that much effort. You just take a little bit of action, and before you know it, your life is a lot more different than it was previously when you were miserable. So, just take those little steps, take a risk, take a chance, um, and keep striving towards it. But don't just go around aimlessly in life, like hoping things gonna fall, something's gonna fall into your lap, because that's not really how it works. Like, you usually have to work for it. If it feels like it's too much effort, well, maybe it's not for you. Feel like you're enjoying it and you have motivation behind it because it's something you really want to do, well, then it's for you. And it's different for everybody, for greater or for less, depending on the career or whatever. Some people are content being a manager at Food Lion, and I'm not that kind of guy. Some people are content working a job for 30 years at a single place. I'm not that kind of guy. Some people are happy doing that, and that's fine, but that's not me. That's not what I was born for. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to help as many people out as possible, because I've been given a chance to relate to many different stories, and you know, I'm just all about constant self-improvement and development. And you know what? Even though I talk about different careers, I would rather be a home inspector that I could be certified in for like 2 to 3 weeks, or I'd rather be a CDL driver. Um, that doesn't take a long period of time at all to obtain, making $4,000 a month, as opposed to a cashier, right? While I'm pursuing college to try to get into law enforcement, I would rather be a home inspector. For example, I would rather be a home inspector than a cashier for like the whole time I'm, working these miscellaneous jobs while I'm going to school. Like, I'd rather have a job that's going to pay me and teach me up to, thirty or $40,000 a year while I'm attending college. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. There's no need to do the retail BS and all that crap. If you want to get into any retail for an important position like human resources, or something in corporate, or some attorney in corporate for some company, or something with status that's not embarrassing, that's not just like anybody could do this. Like, oh, I'm a cashier at Target. Like what the fuck? The hell is that? But if you could say, oh, my name is so and so, and I'm, let's just say they're 23 years old, and they're an assistant manager at Target. Like, that means something. That's not embarrassing to talk about. But if you're just an employee, like, oh, I go out and collect shopping carts, or I scan items all day, or yeah, I stock up the milk back here. It's like wow, there's like pretty much next to no skill set for that, you know. So, and then status, unfortunately, in today's society, it does mean something. So, you know, if you tell people you do certain things like those kinds of jobs, well, then they just kind of look at you like there's something wrong with you, or there's some red flags there. So that's basically it. And yeah, so who cares about people judging you? And I don't give a fuck about people judging me, and I really don't care. I mean, they can think what they want. If people give me advice, I'm always open to listening, because I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong when I'm wrong. But if it doesn't apply to me or my life and it doesn't make sense to me or it's not compatible um, for me, then that's just not how I'm going to go about it. So, fuck it, whatever. Right now, I've been putting some money away, and I'm pretty sure I have a pretty good game plan of where I want to go, what I want to do. I'm going to continue to put money away. I'm going to get my home inspection certification, become a member, get my CDL credential. I made a study guide up today of 50 questions based on the Pennsylvania study guide exam test. So I can print that out, bring it with me to work. Just print out a copy and test myself every day for my permit, for my Class A CDL, so I can ace it. So by the time I'm ready to get my license back and all that, it's a credential I'll always have. And shit ever hits the fan, well, I can go get a trucking job. If I become a police officer and they happen to lay off, well, I can go get a trucking job. In the future, if they decide to create self-driving trucks that are no longer CDL, there's no longer a demand for man-driven truck drivers. These are things you have to plan for. A lot of people look at me like I'm crazy, but you have to plan for the future. You have to be open to interpretation. You have to think about what could happen in the future. You have to think about what's currently available today and what could become obsolete in the near future. I mean, think about it. This whole, Facebook thing and MySpace and all this other crap, like, pretty much happened overnight. So, from an evolutionary standpoint of where we were less than 100 years ago, we've come pretty far. Now we're talking about 5G and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's very possible that, these laborosity jobs and things like that will be replaced by robotics. They already have been, for the most part, and they will continue to do so. Truck driving jobs, all the jobs that people don't want. Well, if there's a way to cut down on the numbers and paying employees and reducing liability, well, they're going to do it because that's what business is. So, I don't know if CDL truck driving is going to be obsolete or not in the next 10 years. It's very possible that it may not be around anymore. So what would I do if I put my eggs all in that one basket? Would I go from just having that skill set to having practically no other skill set, and then having to go back to making what, like some measly $10 an hour someplace, slaving away for nothing? So, no, I don't want to do that. Ultimately, I want to get into real estate just like everybody else. A lot of people want to get into real estate. I'm not trying to be some crazy millionaire. I just want to make maybe $100,000 a year, if I got into real estate so I could, afford my home and cost of living and all that stuff. Live a comfortable living without having to worry about where my next paycheck's going to come from. I think it's a horrible way to live like that. So, yeah, that's all, man. Just real estate. But first, I'm going to get business going. I'm maybe able to get the cop thing, get the business going, and give people a second chance and give them a livable wage. And all those crappy jobs, well, they're going to have a harder time because I'm planning on making my company national. I'm going to go countrywide, nationwide, so I can hire felons and convicted felons and things like that for different things, and pay them a livable wage and give them benefits and give them a second chance and improve the world. And, you know, so that's all it takes. Sometimes it's just a second chance for people. I'm not saying everybody's like that. I mean, if you screw up after the second time, then, you know, that sucks for you. But literally, when I say second chance, I mean second and only second chance. Like, I'm not the nice guy. I'm not going to be walked on like a doormat. Like, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you screw it up again, then forget about it. That's just the way things are. So, yeah, it'll greatly improve the world and get the whole real estate thing going. And, I think it's good to be open minded about things. Oh, goodness. It's good to be open minded about things. I guess so they might have self driving Class A CDL trucks. So, where does that leave you? You might get laid off from the police department. So, where does that leave you? I know that happened not too long ago in the Philadelphia Police Department. They had a bunch of layoffs. So I've seen it happen before. I'm not saying I'm afraid of risk, and I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid that certain things have happened and it might happen again. Obviously, I don't live my life like that. However, I am aware that that kind of stuff could happen, and I have to have more than one thing. If I can't have more than one income for now, because I'm basically starting from the bottom, working my way up, I have accumulated a lot of knowledge since that time in the past, 8 years or so. But so I pretty much have basically most of the know-how. Now it's just a matter of getting the money though, and showing that I'm on paper for a couple of years at the same place somewhere, paying off my credit, getting that score up, and then getting approved for a home loan or something. Probably buy a house and then, or either I'll stay at this condo and just buy a house with my 401k or savings or whatnot and just rent it out or make money on it somehow. Flip it or rent it out. Probably not going to be too much of a profit in the beginning, but in the long run, once the house is paid off, it won't be too bad. So that's what you have to do. You just have to create multiple sources of income for yourself. Can't afford a house and go buy a trailer. You can buy a trailer, you can rent a trailer out. So that's about it, guys. All right, well, I'm pretty deep. So I'm gonna head to bed. All right.